What's up, comic book fans? Pete here from Comic Books Transformed, where me and my good friend Brian discuss comics that have been adapted into streaming shows. We are up to episode 4 of X-Men 97, season 2. Brian, this is exactly what we want.
Yes.
Right? Like, when they adapt comics into some other type of media, this is what we want.
Yeah. This is exactly what we want. Yes.
Okay.
I want this. I would call these faithful adaptations with some with some remixing, I suppose. I just want to see what's in the comics. I love the animation medium because it gives us, it allows us to have these more fantastical kind of things. I keep thinking about this episode of the show, which is very much the origin of Apocalypse, and I just think about X-Men Apocalypse and just how much better this is.
Right. And I think what's really interesting is it's all based on who they think is going to consume the media, right? With comics, you can do all kinds of wild stuff, and you have people writing and drawing the comics that are usually like kind of weird individuals or crazy ideas.
Yes.
Then with animation, I think it's like somewhere in between, because I think they realize that like kids aren't watching this show. It's adults like us.
Yeah.
This
show is for people who watched it in the 90s and grew up on it.
Right. And then for movies, it's like, well, let's make it as accessible to a mass audience as possible. And so we're going to, not go so far out there, and we're going to try to make things simpler. But this, they don't give a shit. Like, you show this show to someone that's never watched the cartoon or isn't familiar with the comics, and you're probably like, what the fuck is going on? Right?
Yeah. I mean, even to an extent, like, I have not read every issue of X-Men ever, so there are some things even I'm like, did that happen?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, what we know has happened, at least like what I've gleaned from the many, many X-Men comics I've read, and you've read just as many as I have, like, we know that Apocalypse gets an upgrade with Celestial Tech, and we know that he has had this like power from this ship. One thing that I'm not sure if it's the same in the comics as it is in the show, but is it like Cable and Apocalypse both use the same ship?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, because that's his little nav computer thing. Yeah.
I know for a fact that Apocalypse had a thing called ship, and like in the 80s and 90s he used it. But then like
that's ship. I mean,
right. But like, okay, in the end of the third episode, no, the first episode. No. I think it's the first episode. It's when they break into Apocalypse's stronghold in the future, and Nathan Summers is there. He like his arm gets upgraded, and then he has a little cube. Like
yes.
the thing they're breaking into is ship, right?
Ship, yes, 100%.
Okay, so it's kind of like Apocalypse was like the destined ruler of ship, and then he leaves, and then Cable becomes the ruler of ship.
Yeah, it's a little interesting. The allegiance is there, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so like, I kind of treat these more like it's just you and me having a discussion. Who gives a shit if we have to kind of get people up to speed? They're watching it or they're not, right? Is the ship itself made by Celestials?
I think that's the implication.
Okay.
Of it there, but I couldn't even tell if the Celestial was if Aeson was on the ship or not. Was
yeah.
He? Okay.
It looked like he physically was. I mean, it looked like Beast and everybody were like looking at him.
Yeah.
I know there's a part where like Apocalypse is like hovering in front of him and he's massive, but it also looked like he was sort of like Galactus sized on the ship.
Yeah, he was very big on the ship there. It's the size, the sizing there is always confusing to me, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, because like if you look at like in the MCU, when you look at Galactus is sort of like Godzilla size, where he's like way bigger than the Statue of Liberty. But then when you look at the Celestials in the MCU, they're like way bigger than Galactus.
Yeah, like you could see them standing in space, basically from
Right. So I'm talking on. I apologize, but like, did you notice connections to the MCU, and like, did you get excited by them in this?
I wasn't really thinking much about the MCU here. I mean, yes, there is things from the larger Marvel universe here. Like, we never saw. I don't think we ever saw Celestials in the original X-Men cartoon. We did get those cameos. Some of those characters from the original car. Well, even from the series, really. Prior, you did see the end credit thing, right?
What the fuck are you talking about? What?
Yeah, there's an end credit thing.
What? What is it?
It was Wolverine meeting Captain America and Black Widow, and it looks like the cover of Uncanny X-Men 268, where it's Black Widow in like the gray suit and Wolverine's in the brown and yellow suit, and you have Captain America's there.
Okay, what the fuck is the point of that?
Captain America gives Wolverine a file about Weapon X, so I think he's going to go back to get his adamantium.
Okay. I have been thinking for a while now, like they purposely some sort of sidelined Wolverine in the first season. Maybe in this season they're gonna have him be more prevalent. And I was thinking that you might get Sabretooth, because I mean, I don't remember the last time I saw Sabretooth in the original animated series.
Yeah,
and he wasn't in the first season.
So one of the lines he says is he already has a team. He's getting the band back together. So some people have speculated that this could be some iteration of Uncanny X-Force. It could be Cable's team there, or it could be Team X. So it could be like Sabretooth, Maverick, Silver Fox, those kind of characters, and possibly Deadpool.
Deadpool. Oh Jesus. Oh, Deadpool's in this season, though.
I think he is supposed to be in the season, and funnily enough, he would fit in either of those categories.
Right. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Oh man. Okay. Wow. So much interesting stuff. Like Sabretooth was around so much in the beginning of X-Men, the animated series, but then I don't know where he was towards the end. And then Sabretooth in the 90s is kind of an interesting character, because when the whole world is ending and the Age of Apocalypse is about to begin, Wolverine shoves his claw up into Sabretooth's brain, and you have this sort of like, how do I say this in a PC way? Like a sort of, a Sabretooth with brain issues. Let's say, like he's not as high functioning.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, vaguely.
And then he eventually does come back to this sort of like, primal serial killer Sabretooth that is the most common Sabretooth.
Yes.
He was kind of a hero for a little bit, but then he's been horrible in the comics for a while.
And then there's the Apocalypse version as well, so.
Right. He's a hero, right, in that too. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We're talking about like potential stuff in future episodes. Let's talk about the juiciness of this fucking episode.
Yes. So the episode was just really the continuation of the last one there. Apocalypse is kind of triumphant here. He kind of has his eyes open about the motivations of Charles and Magnus, and he kind of feels betrayed. And then they find they walk into where Aeson is, see all these hieroglyphics on the wall it even has the X-Men on the wall there that they're there. And he kind of finds out that they've known what he's supposed to become the entire time. They're trying to manipulate him, and he's not a fan of that. And then, so the other day I texted you asking if you finished the episode, and the reason why was I found somebody took Sailor Moon music and put it to Apocalypse's transformation, so they gave him like a magical girl transformation, which works
fucking awesome.
Goddamn well.
Oh, I wish you could send that to me. You said you lost the link, right?
Yeah, I gotta go find it again. I haven't been able to yet, but it was really good. But there was the second half of this episode was very compelling, with Magneto kind of redeeming himself in a way. after destroying Bishop's time travel device. He actually forces everybody to leave, with the exception of him and Charles. And then he sacrifices himself there. There's a point where he gets hit in the chest and he uses some metal to cover himself. I was really wondering if that was a nod to X-Men Red.
Yep. I had that same exact thought.
So, which is really awesome. It was one of my favorite Magneto moments ever.
Yep.
That was a really cool thing to see. I also really loved when Aeson is talking to Apocalypse. He says some line about, like the waves crashing against the rock of the eternal shore. And that was a callback to one of Apocalypse's famous lines from the original cartoon, which was really cool to hear too.
Yep. And it's so funny because I've seen so much shit on TikTok and stuff about this. I mean, there's so many people that love Apocalypse, and rightfully so. He was done so dirty in X-Men Apocalypse. But so one person had these complaints about how he transforms from Ensign Benor into Apocalypse. That is basically the way he looks in the present day. So it's like for 5,000 years he's looked just like that. They were kind of hoping he'd be like somewhere in the middle or something. Another thing is like they were talking about like his voice. Like he loses his accent when he becomes Apocalypse. And then he's got that sort of a double voice that is so good about Apocalypse in the original cartoon. And I always fucking remember he has that one line, like Graydon Creed says to him, he says he's a mutant. And then Apocalypse says, mutants? I'm as far beyond mutants as they are beyond you, right? I always fucking remember that line. And I think this episode kind of explains the validity of that, because it's like, he's a mutant and he's an extremely powerful mutant, but then he's also like augmented with celestial tech.
Yes, and there's also a really good line that is a callback from the previous episode where, Apocalypse is about to like just curb stomp Professor X, and he says, "It's like you're beneath me as like an ant is to a human," or something like that, which is really all tying in that together.
I really did think he was gonna fucking curb stomp Xavier there.
Oh yeah, I did too. For sure there. And then that whole just Magneto's last stand there was fantastic, and the pain and Charles's voice, everything was about it was fantastic. It's really funny that I believe the Gambit episode last season was episode 4.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting that they had such impactful deaths scenes in the same episode.
Yep. Like right in the middle,
yeah. And I am very curious to see how Rogue's gonna react. He's like, I'm never gonna be in episode 4 ever again.
Yeah, there you go. Right, that's awesome. Okay, Brian, what was my favorite part of this whole episode?
Oh, I don't know.
I fucking loved when Xavier is like defeated and Apocalypse is on the hill and he says, "Oh, if only Baal had let you bake," or whatever. I wish that your mother had left. Like he says something like, it's too bad someone found you after your mother left you, or your mother was right. So, oh my God, so good.
Yeah, there was some serious venom in his words there. Yeah, for sure.
And it's just like, because he's the idealist and he tries to see the good in everyone, and he's the dreamer. And so for him to say something like that, it's like, this is something that's truly profound has happened to him.
Yes, agreed.
So now we have to speculate, because the reason why I thought that you were texting me was that it was going to be, oh, well, now they'll do Zorn because Magneto's dead, right?
Well, there's a couple ways they can go with it, I think. So Zorn would be one of the ways they can go. Onslaught's another. And it's funny because you were texting me about that before you finished the episode. We were talking about Onslaught, so it was interesting to just. That's another reason why I was asking you if you'd seen the episode or not. But
yeah.
I still think that's going to be, if they do that, it's going to be a season or 2 away. I honestly think that we're going to get Joseph.
Yeah.
Then we'll have a road that leads up to something like Onslaught, and then I guess maybe Zorn after that. I don't know if they even go that way. I mean, obviously, from our background, you can see that they have animated some of the new X-Men costumes for
Right.
this. I don't know how they're going to incorporate that or how they'll get to any of those stories in this current continuity here, because they're kind of all over the place.
They really are.
So, but if they do jump to that stuff, it may be a little bit rushed, I would think.
Right.
So
It's insane because so much stuff happens in the 90s, the X-Men. You know, like another TikTok that I watched that was great was this guy was sort of predicting what's going to happen in the MCU moving forward, like post Secret Wars. And he was saying that like they're basically going to just focus on the three things that were the big things in the 90s. And he kept saying them over and over again. He kept saying Spider-Man, the Hulk, the X-Men. Spider-Man, the Hulk, the X-Men. He kept just saying that over and over again. And I remember the 90s, like that was like the main thing. I mean, like the Punisher was kind of big, but like, you know, the whole point of his video was that he was just reiterating what we all know. We've heard many times before that like Marvel sold the rights to the big characters when they were going to go bankrupt. And now that they have the rights back, like they're going to like kind of make it a sort of like a 90s version of the MCU where like Spider-Man, the X-Men, and the Hulk are like the big thing. I mean, do you agree with that? Or?
To a degree, but I mean, we're still going to be stuck with that same situation with the Hulk, where he's not going to be able to have his own solo movie. He's going to have to be a part of somebody else's movie every time. So
yeah.
But I mean, really, I don't particularly remember any like major like Hulk stories from the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, outside of like the various phases of different Hulks, like, you know, Joe Fixit, Professor Hulk, all that kind of stuff. But they've kind of touched on a lot of that, and I speculated that we may be seeing a Gray Hulk in Spider-Man: Brand New Day potentially.
Right.
Although that's just me speculating. Yeah, I really think it's going to be very X-Men focused, mutant focused. I'm curious about Spider-Man. I know that Tom Holland's existing contract is up. I know previously, you know, with the release of this movie. So I don't know. I know he's previously said he doesn't want to be doing Spider-Man movies his entire life. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that means recasting, kind of legacy passing the torch to like a Miles, something like that, or just fading it out, which I find hard to believe. But at the same time, with how poorly superhero movies have been doing at the box office, I'm really curious to see how Spider-Man will fare, because he is one of the, you know, perennial kind of big hitters in terms of movies, even from before the MCU.
Right, exactly. And speaking of that Spider-Man movie and mutants, I heard another speculation as to who Sadie Sink could be. That's a different character than what we've talked about. Have you heard about a different red-haired character she could be?
That's not a Gray.
It's not a Gray. That's right.
Ooh, no, I don't think I have.
They were saying that maybe she was Siren, you know, like Banshee's daughter.
Siren, but is that a juicy enough role to be putting in like that kind of a place?
Well, I think that Siren has some kind of power besides that, like sonic scream blast. I think she can also like kind of hypnotize people too. You know?
Yeah, I mean that makes sense with the whole idea of like the Siren song sort of thing. I don't recall that being one of her powers, but I don't think that character could have that much of an impact.
Yeah.
You know, in the MCU. That's a lower tiered character, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I do think I do really like Sadie Sink as an actress, but we haven't seen her in that many things outside of Stranger Things.
Right.
So, but what I have seen was also pretty good. So I'm kind of expecting her to be something bigger than something like Siren.
Okay. Well, I had to throw that in there too. I just, you know, I'm bringing up all this MCU stuff because I just feel like this X-Men show is so good, and it's making me want the goodness of this show to like influence the MCU moving forward. Like,
Well,
there's the connection. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so that's the problem. Is again, it's the medium here. It's so much easier to draw in a bunch of characters that have zero lines in the background to make the world kind of feel filled out, rather than to have, like an X-Men movie where there's as many characters as there was in like Endgame or something like that. Like that's a massive undertaking to have something like that live in live action. In terms of coordination, in terms of technical filming, aspect of there, and writing all these characters so they're relevant in some way, and then not just stand there in the background. It would be ambitious to do something of that scale, the like in the comics or these cartoons or animated series, whatever you want to call it. And I don't expect that to be the thing. I think there's going to be kind of a core focus, like they've done in other movies, of certain characters, and maybe they'll branch off to other teams or something. I don't know. Like I keep thinking that the best case scenario would be like a X-Men Blue, X-Men Gold sort of situation. And that allows you to have some to kind of not focus on just those same characters over again. Wolverine, Storm, Cyclops, Jean. You can spread them out a little bit more, but still have these heavy hitters and maybe open up the rosters a little bit to some more deeper cuts there.
Damn, you've really been putting some thought into this. I mean, I've just been thinking about X-Men since I watched that episode. Like, that's been my main thing, is thinking about X-Men. And like there are people that kind of like put me to shame with the videos that they put up because they have such eagle eyes and they note all these interesting things. Like, I mean, you noticed the thing about the callback to the previous episode's dialogue. That's great. But like someone was pointing out that the symbol above the chamber that like Apocalypse goes into, or Ensign Nor goes into, the symbol is the same symbol as the one above, or not the one above all, the He That Remains or whatever. Like that.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. And then like, I mean, he literally puts on the fucking Kang mask in this episode when he like runs away,
Just to point out too, I saw a lot of people thinking that woman that was left behind there was going to be Genesis, but that's Chandra, who is the external from the Gambit episode of the League of Assassins and Thieves.
Yeah.
So.
No, yeah, like, I mean, Kang even says like a little line. He's like, "Oh, I think this will be a problem that could be handled externally," or something like. He said something like that,
Jeezy. I also I didn't notice this myself, but I saw some people notice that in the when Charles is looking at Ensign Nor's mind and he sees his mother and all that somewhere in the background you see like statues of Khonshu.
Oh, that's cool.
It's kind of cool, but that's really just a little Easter egg thing there. Like, I don't think we're gonna have any kind of connectivity really there.
Yeah, with Moon Knight. Yeah. Oh man. I mean, I honestly, and I watched this whole episode completely sober, and it was still, an experience unto itself. Like the way they fucking did that whole sequence, where there's a black hole destroying Kang's city, Ramatut's city, and then Magneto goes to stop them. Like all the stuff that he's doing, at one point he like throws the ship into the fucking black hole too, right?
Yes, he does. Yes.
So I mean, so that unto itself is funny because it's like the ship's been waiting for Apocalypse to like get created and like use it, and then the moment he uses it, Magneto throws it into a black hole. Right?
Yeah. Oh man. The scale of what Magneto did was truly epic. There's no other term for it, really. And really, it was just a great episode.
So, like, is the implication that it goes into the black hole, but I guess it comes out at some point, and that's the ship that they have in the future?
Yeah. I mean, I imagine. I mean, does he go straight to the future? I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's around in like the 80s and stuff because, or the 90s, right, for this show, because like Apocalypse has it in the 90s and the 80s in the comics.
Yeah. So the way I'm thinking about it, maybe it's the ship goes in the black hole, it pops out in the future, and then when we see Apocalypse leave the future and to go back to the 90s, maybe that's it. Maybe that's how he gets there originally, and he's been there since around that time. But that's a pure guess there. It's very possible he's somewhere else in history and he's been present somewhere else throughout history. Because this is what did they say, 5,000 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. I mean, the way that whole sequence plays out too, it's so well done because there's like, this crescendo, this intense moment where Magneto saves this city. He's a hero and he crashes onto the ground. And you for a second there, you're like, oh, is Magneto about to die just from the exertion of what he did? And then you're like, oh, fuck, that's right, Apocalypse is there. And he's just standing on the mountain. Well, no, he's walking and you hear his heavy footsteps. And then you see him. And the lighting for that shot is incredible, where there's like a shadow cast from him, but like the setting sun is like behind him. Oh my God, so fucking good.
Yep.
And just the way he talks, and then he like grabs Magneto's head with the helmet. And then I guess he just fucking like vaporizes Magneto, right?
Yeah, he's completely vaporized, and the helmet's the only thing left there. So again, that just makes me think that is going to lead into Onslaught eventually there, because that's Xavier's probably took on his psyche in some way, and he's going to be battling grief, and he's going to put that helmet on someday, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, because they even have like kind of like a psychic link at one point, right when Apocalypse is crushing his head with the helmet.
Yeah,
that I was looking for that for like, oh, Onslaught right here. Oh my God, it's so fucking good. This show, I was really, really worried since the What If person was taking over and Beau DeMayo was out. But I guess like Beau DeMayo's influence is just still there and still making.
He claimed to have written a lot of the episodes or the early drafts of the episodes for this season. So I think the true test will be the third season.
Yeah,
there'll be nothing left at that point, and it'll all be what's the newer staff writers and showrunner.
They have to keep it at this level because it is like so fucking good right now.
Yeah, I hope so. This is the reason I would keep Disney Plus for,
Right, exactly. Oh man. So is there anything else that you want to say about this episode?
Not really, but just go check out that post-credit scene there, and I just want to point out that they made like Wolverine super like hunchbacky.
Oh, okay.
Really, like over like this. It's like really weird.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I mean, like he's not as deformed looking and stuff as he is after Magneto rips his skeleton out in the 90s comics. He kind of still looks like Wolverine.
Yeah. Like they didn't have him go like feral, like which I thought was an interesting idea in the 90s, but man, did I not like those issues.
No, yeah, they're pretty lame. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that kind of covers our X-Men 97 season 2 episode 4 review. Another solid episode. Come back next week and we will review episode 5. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. Brian, what else are we potentially going to be talking about in this summer?
Next week, we're probably just going to be X-Men, but we'll have Cape Crusader coming up at the end of the month. We'll have Spider-Man Brand New Day. Lanterns is the end of August, I think. So we have a bunch of stuff coming out throughout the next couple months.
Yeah, that'd be hot. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, come back next time and see which one of us is going to be Sadie Sink's character in Brand New Day. And we will see you guys next time.